Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak and Robert Paris, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar, and Liz Gillespie with sports. Thank you for joining us. Burlington's number of new COVID-19 infections continue to drop this week, but the state's rollout of the vaccine is being criticized by local officials. After falling out of the red and into the yellow zone 2 weeks ago and improving even more last week, this week's report from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health shows the rate of spread in town has dropped even further. According to DPH's most recent town-by-town report dated February 18, Burlington's recent positivity rate is 2.84%, and the town's average daily incident rate per 100,000 people is 19.5. The previous report dated February 11 had Burlington's percent positivity rate at 3.95% and the town's average daily incident rate per 100,000 at 28. According to DPH, in order for a community to move into the green, it would have to have an average daily incident rate per 100,000 people less than 10 and less than 10 total cases. Officials are encouraging anyone who is eligible for the vaccine to sign up for a clinic, but they're not making it easy for people to do it in their home communities. As of this Thursday, people 65 years and older and those with 2 or more comorbidities, we'd never heard that word before this year and we've used it 100 times now, are now eligible to sign up for an appointment. This means almost 1 million more people are newly eligible for a vaccine. However, the state has said that it will stop sending vaccines to municipalities starting on March 1st, according to a letter from Secretary of Health and Human Services, Mary Lou Sutters. This has caused frustration among local health officials who say they are ready and able to vaccine residents at the local level. Burlington Board of Health Chair Ed Weiner told BNews he thought the decision was, and said Burlington was better equipped to vaccinate its residents than the state. Dr. Weiner added the decision to prioritize mass vaccination sites is not fair to seniors, people who are ill, and those without transportation, and that many people do not want to travel to a mass vaccination site and wait in line with strangers out in the cold. They would rather get vaccinated in their own community. Governor Charlie Baker said on GBH on Thursday that the lack of doses in the state is due to a smaller than needed number of them coming from the federal government. He said the state regularly receives hundreds of thousands of doses fewer than those requested. He added that he hopes the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which only requires 1 dose, is approved for emergency use soon. As reported last week, the Burlington financial team is recommending an operating budget increase of 3.5% for FY22 and is warning of potential revenue shortfalls. In total, the town is expected to bring in $6 million less in total receipts than it would have if there wasn't an economic downturn due to the pandemic. There are also concerns that state aid could be lower than expected. This has prompted town leaders to explore the unusual possibility of using reserve funds to make up some of the shortages in revenues as a way of avoiding large tax hikes. However, as pointed out at a recent Board of Selectmen meeting, this measure can only be used for a limited amount of time, and as it stands now, the tax hike is likely to be 5%. BNews Director Rich Hosford asked Town Administrator Paul Sagarino about using reserve funds in the latest Town Administrator update, and here's what he had to say on that subject.
Through our conservative budgeting process, we've put ourselves in a very fortunate position. We do have reserves. They are there for a rainy day. Just about anyone would tell you it is a rainy day right now. But it's really important when you use reserves to come up with a plan to stop using reserves. So, we'll be making recommendations to the board and to town meeting and to Ways and Means, just that we should be very cognizant if we do start to use reserves, we need to have a way to wean ourselves off of them because they cannot become a part of our regular budget. At some point, we have to make either reductions or generate new revenue because obviously the pool of reserves, although it's something that we're really proud of, if this thing, economic distress that the country's in extends far, I mean, our reserves are only going to carry us so far, even though that we have a great amount of them. So it's very important for us to use them very judiciously and very strategically if we're going to use them. I mean, we never do that as part of our budget process. We've been fortunate to do so, but again, it is a rainy day, and reserves are for a rainy day. So we will have to make some decisions as it comes to using reserves for the budget.
A beloved Burlington High School educator who lost her battle with cancer was recognized at the school committee meeting last week. They held a moment of silence in honor and in memory of Abigail Bates Abbott, who passed away on February 1st at the age of 53. According to her obituary, Abby was born on July 20th, 1967 to Gardner and Christine Abbott and was raised in Connecticut as the oldest of 4 girls. She attended Duke University, where she began her career in education and a life defined by service to her community. She taught Spanish at Burlington High School for over 20 years. During that time, she was also an advisor for the National Honor Society and led student groups on summer trips across 4 continents. She inspired hundreds of students and helped them learn how to give without return, to share themselves without making exceptions, and to see the goodness in everyone, her obituary says. She loved to travel and spent much of her free time taking road trips with friends and visiting people she knew around the world. School Committee Vice Chair Tom Murphy spoke about Abby before the moment of silence. Here he is.
Abby Abbott was a longtime Burlington High School teacher. She was very involved with the students and extracurricular activities. Anybody that's been around the school department for the last 20 years has crossed paths with Abby. She was a great person and a great teacher. Unfortunately, she lost a very long fight with cancer. So I wanted to thank Abby and pass along condolences to Abby's family and friends for all her efforts over her career and all the service to the town of Burlington.
Massachusetts Secretary of Housing and Economic Development Mike Keneally visited with local leaders at Grandview Farm to get an update on a grant meant to help the town connect its water supply to the MWRA. BNews Director Rich Hosford was there and has this report.
Some local officials and department heads gathered at Grandview Farm last Thursday for a socially distanced meeting with Massachusetts Secretary of Housing and Economic Development Mike Keneally about a $3.5 million MassWorks grant that was awarded to the town to assist with the water connection to the MWRA. The meeting was a chance for the town to update the Secretary on the project and other potential projects in the pipeline that could benefit from state aid.
You know, it's terrific. It's been a great visit, and there's so many interesting things going on here. We were so pleased to make a $3.5 million MassWorks grant to Burlington for this water expansion project. It's a $175 million development, hundreds of housing units, 1,000 jobs, a really smart use of our infrastructure money. It's been a really positive visit, but I'd say between the MassWorks project, the Mass Downtown Initiative grant made to Burlington to help them reimagine their downtown. It's a housing choice community, and obviously become a really important part of our life sciences cluster. So there's a lot of exciting things happening here in Burlington.
DPW Director John Sanchez says the funding for this project is coming from water bills and was originally scheduled to have a longer timeline, but grants like this help move things up.
When we get a grant like this one, $300 million, what it does to us is we can accelerate that project because now the funding is here sooner than when we expected. So the section that we're going to be constructing and starting this year in 2021 and hopefully completing at the end of 2022, we were not planning to go to town meeting to ask for funding until next year, never mind construction. So as you can see, any type of grants that we get, it's going to move this project to a sooner rather than later stage.
The group also looked at aspirational projects that could be made more likely when the town has a more reliable water source, especially in a growing industry in Burlington.
Really kind of unlocks the potential for growth, and in particular for the life science industry, mainly because of lab and certain kind of experience are water intensive, so that the water and having quality water, reliable water, and consistent water is critical for the growth. And we've already kind of seen, directly from life science companies kind of interest in Burlington just because of this new connection.
And Secretary Keneally said that is exactly what the MassWorks grants are supposed to do.
Really important. You know, MassWorks funds public infrastructure that facilitates private development. And so it funds water and sewer and streetscapes and lighting and the basic building blocks of infrastructure. In a lot of ways, it's the hardest dollars to find in a project. And it's a very popular program. We get, you know, probably 3 times the in demand the supply we have for the program. But it's really important. And what it does, it lets a community come to us and say, this project's important to us. Can you help us fund it?
Finally, local leaders said they were appreciative of the funding.
Very thankful for all the support that the state gives us over the years, and they're very generous to us, and they've been great partners to us. We've received a multitude of MassWorks grants over the years, and it really shows that they appreciate the partnership that they have with the town of Burlington and our ability to create jobs and create economic opportunities here within the town.
This is an important event today because what we're showing the Commonwealth is our place in the economic revival coming out of this pandemic. This is a region, and Burlington is the focus of that region, really, where we're going to rely on life sciences to contribute to our local economy, bring jobs back, and help us to come out of this pandemic.
From Grandview Farm, I'm BNews Director Rich Hosford.
A high-tech company that develops portable biosensors that can be used for virus detection is looking to move into its new Burlington headquarters. According to a letter to the planning department, SciFox has leased a space at 111 Terrace Hall Avenue and is preparing to occupy it. According to the letter, SciFox is developing a portable biosensor using chip-scale integration of the optics, electronics, microfluidics, and biochemistry. The biosensor consists of a reusable reader and cartridge. The letter adds that SciFox's first product is a SARS-CoV-2 antigen test for which they will seek emergency use authorization in the summer. This will be the first SARS-CoV-2 test fully functional on a semiconductor chip and therefore able to be scaled in the billions by leveraging the existing semiconductor infrastructure of a single fab, the letter states. The site at 111 Terrace Hall will be used as SciFox administration, design, and research headquarters. Production of SciFox biosensors will be outsourced to contract manufacturers. The research laboratory will serve mainly as an optics and electronics lab. The application for a special permit is scheduled to be before the planning board on Thursday, February 18th, which was last night. Attempting to discover positive things from the year 2020, the Burlington Public Library has cultivated an art collection from Burlington's talented arts, featuring artists, musicians, painters, poets, crafters, and more. BNews reporter Tad Stefanak went to check it out and has this look.
Hi, this is my composition, Winter Breath. I hope you like it.
While the world was tucked away in quarantine, the Burlington Public Library decided to cultivate an art exhibit. Head reference librarian Donna Manugian cast a wide net for artistic entries.
Not knowing what to expect, just threw it out and was really pleasantly surprised with all of that talent. And so there are some library people that we all know and didn't know that they were very accomplished artists, and it was really fun to see the young people and students and even professional artists that sent us some of their work. It was so much fun to check my inbox every day, and even my husband would say, "Did you get any art today?" It was a fun thing to do. I would like to do it again, even though it was such a good response. It would be nice to be able to do this, especially some people that they don't have enough art to have like a show here. We do have some people do displays, but people that have a few things, they can share it, and it's really fun to watch, and it's fun for the people to be able to share their art.
Be sure to visit the Burlington Public Library website and enjoy the Burlington Quarantine Community Art Project. From the Burlington Library, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak.
We know there's some terrific talent in Burlington. Please visit the website and take a look at their work. Town meeting formed an ad hoc transportation committee to review local public transportation options and issues. Several studies have been done on public transportation in and around town for a town meeting presentation this coming May. They have also recently released a survey for residents to fill out about their thoughts on getting around town. This is a great opportunity to have your voice heard concerning public transportation, including traffic, congestion, traffic hotspots, bus stops, sidewalks, and anything else you can think of to get Burlington moving better. You can find a link to the survey on our website at bcattv.org. BHS senior Heather Murphy has been designing clothes since she was a sophomore. During the pandemic, she's been working a lot more, creating and designing clothes. BNews reporter Robert Paris has this report.
Some students know right off the bat what they want to do after high school. Senior Heather Murphy has been designing clothes from her home during COVID-19.
I took the fashion class sophomore year. I always knew I wanted to take it since middle school, and that really started my career.
Art educator Christina Chain has been working with Heather for a couple of years, and she is impressed with what Heather has been doing independently.
So Heather is an incredible student, very self-motivated. I had the pleasure of taking her on as a student after she had Mr. March Missler, who really launched the fashion program at Burlington High School. And I got to have her as an independent study student, and she was really amazing in how she was so self-motivated and really took the lead on her education and designing and creating the pieces.
Heather enjoys making a variety of designs from her own home. And with that, she is trying to find new ways to cope with the pandemic.
I think the thing that I enjoy making most are gowns, as you can see behind me. These are definitely the most difficult things that I've made, but also the most rewarding. It's been a little bit difficult, I think, last year when everything shut down, but I was able to use that time to create a lot of pieces, and I used that to stay sane.
With all that is going on in the world, teachers are glad to see students taking on new activities and hobbies.
It's a joy to get to see the students utilize their time at home and use that to create their artistic pursuits, and watching Heather create so many new fashions is really exciting.
Heather is going to continue her fashion design career after high school.
I'm definitely looking forward to finishing the year out strong, definitely creating more pieces with my patchwork line. And I will be going to art school for fashion design, and I can't wait to see what I do there.
Over Zoom with Heather Murphy and Christina Chain, I'm Robert Paris for BNews Weekly.
The regular winter sports season has come to a close, but some Burlington teams are battling it out in the playoffs. For all the latest Red Devil news, we go now to BNews reporter Liz Gillespie for this week's sports report.
Hey everyone, I'm Liz Gillespie, and this is your weekly sports report. BHS winter sports have reached the postseason, and we have some updates on how everyone did, so let's get to it. Boys varsity basketball finished off the regular season at 8-2. The only losses they had were against the Stoneham Spartans and the Watertown Red Raiders. They clinched the number 4 spot in the Middlesex League tournament and hosted the number 5th seed against the Reading Rockets. We have some highlights.
Burlington boys varsity basketball team faced off against the Reading Rockets in the first round of the Middlesex League tournament. Let's get to the court. Low scoring first period as both teams scored 8. Second period, the Red Devils put up 10 points while the Rockets had 7. Third period, the action continued as the Red Devils added 14 points and Reading with 20. As the fourth period came around, both teams were scoring back-to-back. However, the Reading Rockets took home a 50-47 victory over Burlington.
Departing seniors from the team are Sean McLaughlin, Nikki Virgin, Tyler Williams, Justin Barros, and Paul Durama. Good luck to all the seniors in the future. Burlington's final record for that year was 8-3. We look forward to seeing them on the court again in the 2021-2022 BHS winter season. Girls varsity basketball finished off the year at 10-0 and clinched home field advantage throughout the playoffs. This will be the team's first Middlesex League Freedom Division Championship since the 1995-1996 season. Burlington hosted the number 8 seed, the Reading Rockets, on Wednesday, February 17th. We have some highlights.
Girls varsity basketball hosted the Reading Rockets in the first round of the Middlesex League tournament. Let's get to the action. In the first period, Burlington put up 13 points on the board, while the Rockets had 5. 13-5 at the end of the first period. Now in the second, the the Red Devils added an additional 7 points, while Reading had 11. 20-16 at the half, Burlington. Third period, Burlington put up another 7 points, and the Rockets only added 9. 27-17 at the end of the third. Fourth and final period now, the Red Devils put up another 9 points, while the Rockets had 10. The Red Devils advanced to the semifinals after the 36-27 win over Reading.
The team then hosted the Wakefield Warriors the next day, and we have some highlights from that game as well.
Time for the semi-round of the Middlesex League playoffs, as the girls varsity basketball took on the Wakefield Warriors. In the first period, it was a very defensive battle, as the Red Devils only had 9 points on the board, while the Warriors had 7. 9-7 Burlington at the end of the first. Second period, Burlington was scoreless when it came to points, as the Warriors' defense was dominant. Wakefield added 7 points, 14-9 Wakefield. Third period, the score did not change a lot, as the Red Devils only added 3 points and the Warriors had 2. Fourth period, Burlington came back from being down in the second and third as they scored at will with an additional 17 points. The Warriors added 9. 29-27 was the final, Burlington.
Burlington has advanced to the championship round of the playoffs and will be taking the court on Saturday, February 20th. This game will be live streamed on the BCAT TV Facebook page. Burlington boys varsity ice hockey had their final game of the regular season against the Watertown Red Raiders, where they won 8-0. It was also senior night, and for more on that, we go to BNEWS sports reporter Robert Paris.
It was a special afternoon for the BHS boys varsity ice hockey team, as the senior parents put on the senior night ceremony at the Burlington Ice Palace.
Great event. I'm glad we could get the senior parents here to watch a game, be part of the action. It was nice to have them back in the arena and nice to be able to see their sons get out there for the last time and play a game. And I think they really appreciated it. I think it was a really nice opportunity for them.
This opportunity gave the seniors to go on the ice one last time with their families.
It's the best that can happen going on. I thought all the parents and the committees did a great job putting it together. I want to thank Mr. Hart, the coaches, and all the parents for putting it together for us and giving us all the gifts.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, especially in a year where we weren't sure what we were going to have. It was pretty special to have that moment out there.
Definitely weird, definitely different season, but it's awesome to just be able to skate out here one last time and get at least some games. Some seasons are out there not playing any games. It's great to get some out there.
Yeah, just grateful that we can have a season and that we could even have like this many games. Just having every game like almost be our last, or like that could be our last. That kind of sucks, but other than that, like we've been doing a good job, like staying safe and all this. So.
Although all the seasons were different, Athletic Director Sean Hart is great to see everyone playing the game they love and staying safe while doing so.
Well, I think that, they're trying to keep some of the traditions alive. I mean, you know what I mean? The seniors, senior parents and groups have tried to put some things together for the boys to just show appreciation for their 4 years of service, if you will. So it was really nice of them to do that, and I thought the boys appreciate it, so I think it was a nice touch.
Great senior class. 9 seniors who have all contributed to our program a lot. Very happy that the game went our way as well, but really nice to honor 9 very good seniors, good hockey players and good role models in the community.
From the Burlington Ice Palace, I'm Robert Paris for BNews Sports.
Burlington boys varsity ice hockey team traveled to Woburn to take on the Tanners in the Middlesex League tournament on Wednesday, February 17th. At the time, Woburn was ranked number 1 seed in the playoffs, while the Red Devils were ranked number 8 seed. The team had a strong battle against the Tanners, and in the end, they pulled off an upset against the number 1 seed Tanners. The final in the matchup was 4-1 Burlington. Red Devils move on to the semifinals of the Middlesex League tournament and will travel to Winchester on Thursday, February 18th at 3 p.m. At the time of this taping, the game is still underway. Girls varsity ice hockey finished out the year undefeated as well at 8-0-1. On Wednesday, February 18th, they hosted the 8th seed, the Reading Rockets. We have some highlights, so let's get to it.
The Burlington girls ice hockey team had a Middlesex League playoff game on Wednesday, February 17th against the Reading Rockets at the Burlington Ice Palace. In the first half of the game, both the Red Devils and Rockets were scoreless. During the second period, things picked up the pace for Burlington. Senior captain Shannon McDonald, freshman Shay McDonald, senior Alexia Hamilton, and 8th grader Caitlin Tremblay scored points for the girls in the second. An empty netter was also in the mix near the end. The final was 5-1 Burlington.
Burlington traveled to Woburn to take on the Tanners on Thursday, February 18th, where their season came to an abrupt halt as their team lost 6-1 against the Tanners. Seniors that are departing are Ava Petrone, Shannon McDonald, Sydney Shinopoulos, Alexia Hamilton, and Colleen McMakin. Congrats on a great undefeated season. Girls Gymnastics hosted their final meet of the season against the Woburn Tanners on Saturday, February 13th. They won by a score of 138.2, while the Tanners scored 132.8. The girls are the third team this season to finish with an undefeated record of 8-0. Departing seniors are Megan Flett, Sophia Grinnell, Sam Mira, Winnie Sakaya, Kaylin Nobrega, Casey Pastizzi, and Nora Shea. Congrats, ladies, on a remarkable season. And that's all for your weekly sports report. I'm Liz Gillespie. Back to you guys in the studio.
We go now to BNEWS weatherman Peter Brown for this week's forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Gretchen Carey to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone. This is Peter Brown to look at your weather for the next 7 days here in the Burlington area. Now starting out our period on Friday. I know it's hard to believe we are getting into the end of February already, but unfortunately it looks like those February temperatures are going to stay with us. Again, though, we're going to actually have a day that our temperatures are going to be about average for this time of the year in the upper 30s to near 40. However, that's going to come with a pretty good slug of some rain and maybe some mixed wet snow early in the morning and some sleet and freezing rain. So we're going to see a little bit of everything on Friday here in the Burlington area. As we round out our period getting into the February 25th time frame, our average highs at this time of the year should be in the low 40s, but unfortunately we're probably going to be 5 to 7 degrees below that. The only real silver lining here is the days keep getting longer and longer as we head towards the end of February. Now, as we go ahead, let's take a look at what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us in terms of temperatures and precipitation in the Burlington area over the next 7 to 10 days. And looking at our temperature map again, this is no big surprise. This is pretty much what it's been for the past 6 weeks here in the Burlington area. Temperatures are going to be near or below average. And again, this is going out pretty much until, I wouldn't be surprised if that stayed with us until we get into the first or second week of March, looking ahead, unfortunately, to say that. But as we go ahead and take a look at our precipitation chances, this is a little bit something that's nice. It looks like we're going to see average precipitation chances as we head into the next 7 to 10 days. So even with that cold air around, it doesn't look like we have any really big disruptive storms coming towards the Burlington area. So that is definitely some good news. Now, as we go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up here in the Burlington area. Again, starting out our period on Friday, not too pleasant out there. Temperatures, again, are going to be a little bit warmer than they've been over the past couple of weeks. Temperatures in the upper 30s to near 40, but again, that's going to bring with it a heavy slug of mixed precipitation. If you have to be out going to work early in the morning, keep that ice melt and that sand by you, because it's going to be, could be pretty icy out there Friday morning as we get a mix of freezing rain and sleet and snow to start off the day before our temperatures hopefully get up above freezing and start to melt some of that away and we turn over to plain rain. Now going into the Saturday and Sunday time frame, back to the deep freeze again. Temperatures only in the mid-20s on Saturday. Temperatures down near the single digits again, so definitely chilly, but oddly enough, nothing as bad as it's been out in the plains, as you've seen in the news stories the past couple of days or so, with temperatures down near zero all the way down to the Gulf Coast in Houston and down towards the Mexican border. So although it's been chilly here, it actually hasn't been nearly as cold as it's been in deep South Texas. I know that's really hard to think, but I know we have our own miserable weather we've been going through here. And once we get into the middle of our period, starting the work week out, looks like we're going to see the chance of some spotty snow showers each day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We are going to have to keep an eye on this. It could become a little bit more organized, and we could get a little more in the way of a little additional snow, especially on Monday and Tuesday. But right now, it doesn't look anything too heavy. And again, as we round out the period on Thursday, our temperatures getting up into the middle 30s, but again, pretty far below average for this time of the year. So everyone, looks like winter is here to stay in the Burlington area. So get out there, stay warm, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hi, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. Don't fall for scammers. On February 23rd, from 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., the Community Engagement Division is having a virtual presentation to learn about how seniors can protect themselves from identity theft and scams. If you have any questions, email agocommunityengagement@mass.gov. Looking to apply for a position? On Tuesday, February 23rd at 7 p.m., the Burlington Public Library is having a virtual event with career coach Meredith Levine about tips and tricks for today's job search. Everyone is welcome. This is a virtual program on Zoom and is open to all. Call the BPL reference desk at 781-270-1691 or email slobodur@burlingtonpl.org with questions. Help support and assist residents graduating from high school. The town of Burlington is looking to help residents graduating from high school with an opportunity to attend college, university, or post-secondary training. For more information, email scholarships@burlington.org. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your community calendar.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This girl is flying high. This week's photo comes from Alex Bonner and features his 6-year-old daughter, Jasmine, going off a jump on her sled at Simons Park. Great to see someone enjoying the snow. Thanks for the photo, Alex. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your holiday activities, your COVID-19 activities, a family trip, or just everyday moments, whatever you think is interesting and want to share. Email your photo to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. Okay, that's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Rich Hosford, Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris, Peter Brown, Gretchen Carey, and Liz Gillespie. Thank you for joining us.